Hello, everyone. Coach Russ again. This is our parent meeting part two. In this session, we're going to be talking about practice schedule and standards to be a part of the cross country family. And so we'll go over those things. Part one was basic information about final forms, physicals, what you need to participate in cross country. I highly recommend that all athletes and parents watch that version, even if you're a returning athlete. This one is more about practice schedule and, as I said, standards to make the team. So let's get going with that. So mandatory practice begins August 2nd. So we have had conditioning all summer. That is not a mandatory thing. Once August 2nd comes along, your son or daughter, if they have chosen to be part of the team, are expected to be at practice every day. And practices are usually Monday through Friday. We will have some Saturday practices at some point, depending on the coaches and based on the need. But it's the responsibility of the athlete and really you, the parent, to find a way to get your son or daughter to practice at their designated time. We have a very large team. Usually we're somewhere between 150 and 180 athletes, depending on the year. So there has to be someone in your neighborhood that lives near you that you could work out a carpooling system. I know especially the first 2 weeks can be difficult because you're working, and so, but we will work with you to try to find a ride with for your son or daughter and work up a carpooling system. But they really do need to be there and not miss practice. You can't say I'm going to Cedar Point or Kings Island or whatever, or even your job. You need to make sure that you're at practice every day. So for our first week, August 2nd through the 6th, we're basically going to be at Nutter Park, which is located off of Factory Road, very close to the high school. And you'll notice that Monday we are going till 10 o'clock just because we're going to have a meeting first. It is also long run day. So usually our practices are not that long, but it's going to take time to check people in, make sure we talk about forms turned in, lots of little details that we need to do. So that's why it's going to be so long. So hopefully we'll be done by 10. I could even go longer. Just depends on how quickly we get people checked in. Most practices will be about 2 hours in length. The first week you can see 7:30 to 9:30. Some of the units they might decide based on what they are doing that day. Maybe go start at 7:15, but we'll get that information out to you. We do have a time trial scheduled on Wednesday and then another one on Friday as well. So you will see the next week, our second week. On Monday, I know it's going to be at Nutter Park. It looks like 7:30 to 9:30. Unless something would change. And then for the rest of that week, it will depend on what unit and coach your son or daughter is working with. And we'll talk about that information a little bit later, but it should be in the morning. There'll be a couple days that could be in the afternoon as well because of we know we have freshman orientation and a few other things going on. If you know that your son or daughter is going to miss something over those 2 weeks, they're going to need to let their coach know. Uh, don't send us an email instantly when you watch this video. Wait till next week and we'll figure out dates. But mandatory practice is you're making a commitment to the team. We do understand that we have some freshman athletes that don't understand that and they've scheduled a vacation a year out and did not know their son or daughter would be running. And we will work with you. But returning athletes should know this by now. And if you're not going to be committed and come to official practice, then we really can't have you part of the cross country family. But the first 2 weeks, as I said, most of our practices will be in the morning. Though most of them will be at Nutter Park. We could have some up at the high school where we meet in front of Ferguson Hall at what we call the shed, or we could also meet at Rotary Park as well. So those will probably be the times and locations. Other important dates. We are having a dance party talent show to kind of the end of summer kind of celebration. That will be Wednesday, August 11th. It says 6:30 to 8:30. It could start as early as 6, but that will be for the athletes. We're just going to have some fun and just really celebrate an amazing summer of training. Originally, pictures were on Thursday, the 12th, but they have moved it now to pictures will be Tuesday, August 10th from 9:45 to 11 a.m. And we'll get out more information about Picture Day and also about giving out uniforms. We have not decided on a day that we're going to give out uniforms as well. From August 6th to August 15th will be Creek XC discount days at Runners Plus. I talked about Runners Plus in our earlier video. They will give discounts on training shoes, spikes, running apparel, GPS watches, anything else that you could need for cross country running. As I said, you can go to other places as well and order your things, but Runners Plus will give you a discount. They're going to get you in the proper running shoe, and also they give a percentage of that back so that we can use to help purchase things for our program. They're a big sponsor of our kids camp, so I promote Runners Plus as much as I can. So our discount days, and there are 2 locations, you can see the link below, are those dates. Practice once school begins. So once school begins, we will meet after school Monday through Thursday, and we'll talk about Fridays in a little bit. In what we call the shed in front of Ferguson Hall. School lets out at 3:00. We tell them to be dressed and ready to go by 3:15. They will not. They really cannot leave anything in the locker room because of volleyball and other sports. So they'll need to bring their things out to practice. We'll have a designated area they can leave their bags and things, or they can put their things in their car. If they do drive, they need to make sure that they do not park in the parking lot where the marching band practices, and the older athletes know where that is. They'll need to make sure they move their car. Many of them drive over to the shed after school, or they even park there in the morning. But we will get started, so the athletes will be expected to go at 3:15. Athletes can train. The freshmen can change inside the freshman building in the locker room. They come out to practice. The high school athletes usually change in the high school locker room, then come out to practice as well. If they're in CCP or something like that, maybe they don't have school in the afternoon, they'll just need to make sure they'll want to get there before 3:00, before all the traffic happens, because then it gets hard to get in. So if your son or daughter is coming from home, maybe they're homeschooled as well, they'll want to try to get there by 3 or at least 3:05, because once they let the cars out a little after 3:05 or so, it's really hard to get to the shed by 3:15. What time will practice end? It really depends on the day. Most days it's going to be between 5 and 5:30. It could be on Fridays, they're a little bit shorter. Mondays are our long run days, and Wednesdays are usually a big workout day. And those are longer days. And so it could be a little bit longer based on how much they are running. And so the coaches that your son or daughter are working with will really kind of go over, this is a workout day. We're probably not going to be done till 5:30 or so. No time have we ever went where we're there past 6:00. But as I said, usually Mondays are the hardest days. We're usually going over information about the upcoming week. Plus, it's our long run day. So Mondays are usually really a long run day. Tuesdays are a little bit shorter. Wednesdays are usually a workout day. There can be long as well. On Thursdays we have practice. And then we go over to in front of the high school and we give out some awards around 5:15 or so. And then at 5:30, we go inside and we have Thursday pasta parties that are parents, that's you, donate pasta meals. You bring them in and we serve all the athletes. The kids love these pasta parties, and parents, so we'll be asking you to donate a couple dishes throughout the season, and we'll have a sign up, and I'll send that information out to you. So those days, and your son or daughter is not going to want to miss pasta parties. I'm just telling you, we're usually there till about 6:15. And then we clean up and we're out of there by 6:15 or 6:30 at the latest. So, but Thursday pasta parties are a big deal with the program. We weren't able to have them last year. We're excited to have those back. As of right now, they are still on. And so those are a later date as well. But practice is done technically around 5:15 on those days. Friday practices, we will have an option. And what we usually do is I show up in the morning at 6 a.m. on Fridays. I turn the lights on in the stadium. Usually they have a short run and some strides. And if the kids show up to run in the morning, that's fine. They can do that. We ask them to wear some sort of reflective gear, either a blinky light or something like that. They can do their, usually it's somewhere between a 20 to 30-minute run. And then they have to do strides on the turf or the track. If they want to run the entire time on the lighted up track area, that's fine. Or many of them just run around campus with their blinky lights on, and with the track stadium lights on. It is pretty bright out. We want safety is a really big deal. Some of them will run the bike path down the rotary or back. If they're in a group, that's fine as long as they have the reflective gear on. That will be up to you if you allow them to come to the morning. And then they can come in, and we ask that they can shower, at least in the past. I will have to double check on that, if they have been able to shower, or they're done by 6:45 to 7. Some of them go back home and then come back to school as well. They can do that. But if they're going to stay at school, they'll also want to either bring a breakfast, or they could go eat in the commons they usually have for, you can usually buy some breakfast things as well. But we need to make sure that they're eating something in the morning on Fridays. There will also be an afternoon practice from about 3:15 to 4:15 that they can come do after school. They go get in there, what we call their shakeout run, get their run in, do their strides, and check out. So we ask that they come to one or the other. It'll be your choice and really their choice on which they would prefer to do. If we're going to have a canceled Friday morning practice, which I know a couple of Fridays I won't be able to be there, we will let you know through Remind that there will no option of having a morning practice. And then, as I said, every once in a while we will have a Saturday practice, but that will depend on the season. So we talked about all those things. Missing practice, as I said, all practices must be attended. Unexcused would be a lack of communication with your coach, and we need to know a day ahead of time that they're going to miss for something. They have a test they're making up. They're going to be at a dentist appointment, whatever it is. Excused absences will be determined on a case-by-case basis. We understand that doctor's appointments and college visits come up. But if you're having 4 or 5, and I put down 5 excused absences, you're always missing for different things. There could be a reason that we pull you from a meet and not allow you to participate because you're continually missing practice, even though it could be an important cause. We understand that school is important, family is important, and other things are important as well. But you can't be missing for your job all the time and all those things. You have made a commitment to be part of the team. And being part of the team means you're committed to being there. It's not fair to the other athletes who are showing up at practice every day to compete. So commitment is a priority. So watch your doctor's visits. As I said, Fridays would be a great day to schedule those kind of things. Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays are really terrible days for even excused absences. Tuesdays are usually a bit easier running if you had to miss every once in a while. A Tuesday would be better. But as I said, Fridays are the best day because they can get their run in the morning. We need them to stay till the end of practice if it at all possible. But we need to know that they're there. So the big thing is communicating with us that you're going to miss practice. We are responsible for your son or daughter. We need to know why they're not at practice. If they were at school and we don't know why they're not at practice, we don't know where they are, and it's a safety concern. So that's a really important thing for us and being part of the team. People always have questions about earning a varsity letter. If you run in 3 varsity races, that will earn you your varsity letter. And there's different ways, and sometimes maybe the top 10 or 15 athletes are not racing, so you might have a chance if you're 15 through 25 to run in a varsity race. It goes through running on a varsity team in the GWOC districts or regional or state meet. If you win a race at any meet, you win the freshman race, you win something. We like to win races. So if you win a race at a meet, that will get you an automatic varsity letter. If you finish in the top 7 at the JV GWOC meet, some years they have only had 1 race. Some years they do have a JV GWOC. We will figure out a way to give you incentive to race really well at, for many of you, your championship meet during your letter. If you run on Creek XC for 4 years, you will earn your varsity letter as well. Time standard you can hit in a meet for a new athlete for boys, it's under 18:30. For a girl, it's under 22 minutes. And to earn a varsity letter for returning athletes, you could also run under 18 minutes or under 21:30. So those are the ways to earn your varsity letter. And I know that's a big deal. And I hope you strive to earn your varsity letter every year. So different ways that you can earn your varsity letter. It is very difficult on a program that has such high standards to make it into the top 7. And we understand that our top 25 to even 30 athletes on a lot of teams would be a top 7 athlete running in varsity races for other teams. So we give you other ways to earn your varsity letter as well. Standards to make the team. And we did not have these standards last year with COVID and everything. It was really difficult to do. But we believe, especially for a returning athlete, there are certain standards that you have to be able to hit to really be part of the Creek XC family. And we'll talk about for new athletes, it's a lot different. So if you are a returning athlete, or if you are a new senior, that's the only thing for seniors because we only get 1 year. We need to make sure you're serious. You will have a time trial, actually August 4th, 2 mile. For women, it's under 18:30 for 2 miles. And then on Friday, August 6th, we're going to have a 4 mile. It's 44 minutes for 4 miles. This is on a pancake flat bike path. So 4 miles in 11 minutes per mile and about 9:15 pace for a 2 mile. Both of those things, if you're a returning athlete, should be able to hit. If you've known about the standard, you should be able to hit those times. If you fail to hit the time, you will have one more opportunity on Tuesday, August 10th. If you would fail to reach both of those standards, we would let you choose which one. It would probably be the 2 mile, which one you would get to repeat. So that is for returning women. For all new athletes, for new athletes 9 through 11, we do not have a specific time standard to make the team. So you're going to be part of the team, but they must hit the 2 mile standard before we allow them to put them in a race. We do have a standard to race. So it doesn't matter if you're a freshman girl and you run 20 minutes. We're going to get you to 18:30 within a couple of weeks. It's probably just going to take you a couple of weeks to get in shape for that. So don't be discouraged, new athletes. If you can't make the standard, if you're close to it, you'll eventually make it. For the guys, I'll get to their standard in just a minute. But for all athletes, are expected to be able to safely complete a distance run at a pace that allows them to train with their unit. For safety reasons, we cannot allow athletes to train alone. So if you are a new athlete, but you are running for your 2 mile 25 minutes or slower, or on our daily runs, you cannot keep up and you're way far back, because there's not always going to be a coach who's with you in your group. There might be a reason that we will tell a new athlete, hey, why don't you train for a year, come back and be a part of the program the next year. So usually we allow all new athletes to stay on the team. But if we have a big safety concern because they are really struggling at both the time trials, then we might have a conversation with the athlete and the parent about maybe coming out their sophomore year and doing a little bit of training on their own. But we can't have athletes out there who cannot stay with a unit or a group for safety reasons. We worry about them running in the community by themselves. So for the boys, they will be doing on their very first day for returning athletes, they should be able to complete a 9 mile run continuously. And then the standards for the 2 mile run is under 16 minutes. And for the 4 miles, it's under 32 minutes. And so that will be Coach Weckesser and the guys' staff will be timing those. And there will be a chance the next day or the following Tuesday if you do not hit one of those standards. And then for him to put you in a race, Coach Weckesser goes into a little more detail. I'm not going to go over all those. You can look at those things before he puts you in a race. So that is really the standards and about our practice schedule. And so this is part 2 of our video. As I said, guys, don't be scared of the standards if you're a new athlete. We've had many freshman athletes who could not make the time standard their first time they try. Within a few weeks, they hit the standard and they get really fast and they become varsity athletes. But for our returning athletes, you've known these standards. You know the standards to race. And we feel that if you've known the time, that you should be able to hit these minimum standards to be part of the Creek XC program. And if you have questions on those things, you can certainly talk to me about those things as well. But we're a program of high standards, and we want to have high standards for our athletes as well. Thanks for watching part 2. We're going to have another part that's going to talk about uniforms and spirit wear and all kinds of just other stuff. So this will be part 3, but thank you guys for watching. And I look forward to seeing you real soon. Creek Pride as always.